Welcome back to our house. The outside of our house basically looks the same since the last house tour that I showed you guys. We still have our really cool fountain that we were gifted as a wedding gift. However, he no longer works. We're gonna have to get a new fountain pump for him. We also have these dogs that guard the entryway. We had bought these at Target around Halloween, and we decided that they were cool enough to stay out all year. We also have this solicitor's sign because we get solicitors really bad out here. You can also tell that it's a witch house whenever you see random little sigils everywhere. And our table and chairs for when we have guests over, that's Bilfred T-Bones. He is always out. Sometimes we sit him in a chair, other times we decorate him for holidays, but he is our resident skeleton. It's taken me a really long time to make this mantle look so cool and very witchy. We have a lot of things decorating it, and my favorite part of what we have decorating it are these dried flower bouquets, and they actually are all bouquets that my husband Brady has given me for holidays such as Valentine's Day or for our wedding anniversary, and I like to dry them and keep them because I see it as a symbol of love. And then on the mantle itself, we have a lot of really cool trinkets from random areas. Like this voodoo doll is actually from New Orleans, and you can take him out of the coffin. And he is representative of, I believe it's a deity from voodoo. And he's the one that you have to offer things such as drugs or drinks to because he's always ready for a good time. I also love this little witch I have up here that I found at TJ Maxx a couple years back. We have this crazy little rat witch. He's holding a skull. We located him in Denver, Colorado when we were on a ski trip. I also really love this pumpkin coffin that my friend Laurel got me for Brady and I's wedding gift. We also have this really cool baby doll headlamp that we purchased from a local artist. I think that it adds a nice touch to the fireplace mantle. And this was a gift from Madame Josephine. She handmade this paper mache skull, and it now resides on our fireplace mantle. This artwork that's on the mantle I did by hand, and it's inspired from one of our trips in New Orleans. I decided that I wanted to draw a Lestat type character. So I drew this with Sharpies, and I did all of the coloring in with watercolors. And the building in the background is actually one of the vampire houses in New Orleans. I also really love the curtains Brady and I have throughout our whole living room. They all feature these skulls with bat wings and little pipes with spiders and spider web. I think that it's really pretty, and I actually had just happened upon them during one of our vacations in Hollywood, California. this is my current altar setup in the living room, and I also have a lot of herbs and oils that I work with, and I keep them up here on this shelf. But I also, what's really cool about this altar is I have drawers. So on this bottom drawer, I keep a ton of my herbs, my incense, my candles, lots of things that I can work with and include in my spell work. It's basically just chock full of a bunch of witchy things that I can use in the future. The top drawer has more of candles and extra bags for carrying tarot cards. It also has extra altar cloths and cool info pages and my giant box of tea light candles because I go through those very, very, very fast. So now you've seen some of my favorite parts of the living room. We can go ahead and move on to the dining room, which is right over this way. I've also had a lot of questions on where my giant altar went that used to be right there in front of the fireplace, which, as you can see, it no longer has anything in front of it. It kind of has its own little space. That altar got moved over here in the kitchen, where it gets a lot more attention than it did in the living room, surprisingly. We have a lot of deities on this altar. Brady works at this altar more than I do. I typically work at the altar in the living room, so anything you see set up over here, Brady has done himself. I really love the spider web lace table runner that we have. We actually bought this around October and I keep it up year round, of course. I also really like our salt and pepper shaker. It's two cats, two black cats and pumpkins kissing each other. This kitchen table is the same kitchen table that my family had the whole time I was growing up. So originally this dining room table and the hutch right behind it are from my childhood and my childhood home. My mom was going to get rid of them, but I told her to give them to me instead because I couldn't imagine them going to anybody outside of our family. There was just too many special memories with both of these items that I couldn't part from them, and I knew that my brothers would feel the same and they would want it to stay within the family. Speaking of the hutch, I have a ton of oddities and random goodness stored inside, along with some bats who guard the door. What you'll find in here mostly are random little oddity trinkets, such as this octopus. I'll go ahead and open it so you guys can see closer. These are cool little things that we've gotten from oddity stores all around the US. Just a lot of cool knickknacks and the porcelain dolls I collect. We also have our drinking horns in here for when we go to festivals. I got this military hat whenever I was in Germany about maybe 3 years ago or 2 years ago. I think it was last Wave Gothic Treffen. I bought that military hat in Berlin. I also have a ton of stuff that has to do with fairies and gnomes. I really, really love fairies a whole lot. And I also really love troll stories from Norway. So I have a lot of these old school style trolls that are Norwegian trolls. There's another drinking horn down here. And this little castle actually lights up, but I need to get a new nightlight for it. Tends to get the most attention from guests whenever we have people over that are visiting, simply because of the open floor plan and the fact that all of us like to drink. We're usually in the kitchen having beers and just talking. But my favorite things in the kitchen would have to be this spice rack that was made as a wedding gift from one of our friends named Shanna. She actually included a ton of spices and she made all of this by hand. I really love it, and I love having it in my kitchen. It just adds this super cute witchy vibe. These cereal boxes, the Count Chocula and Frankenberry, are actually cereal boxes from the cereal that we had on our honeymoon. So I kept the boxes and I framed them, not only because they're spooky, but because they have special memories with them. A lot of the things that are in here are simply just for cooking. Nothing too crazy or out there. I have a little bit of decorations, but not a lot because we work so much in this space. Right here is actually our beer cooler where we keep all of our drinks nice and chilled. I think I told you guys about this in the last video, but this little witch that we have up here, we actually got in Nuremberg. And in Germany, it's good luck to have a witch in your kitchen, so that is why we have her. And she does that little bouncing thing. It's cute. It works. Moving down from that, we actually have another voodoo doll that is from New Orleans, and it's more of a traditional voodoo doll. I will never use him, but I like him as decoration, and Brady's parents actually brought this back for me. So he's really special as well. In our hallway, we have something really cool. It's actually a coffin that was made to my measurements for our music video, Necro Dancer, for our band Esoteric. On top, there's a witch hat that I wore in New Orleans for the Witches Ball. They were actually having a witch hat contest, and I did my best to make a really cool witch hat. We also have a ton of paintings and photos hanging up in the hallway to remind us of different events and spending time with our friends and family. Actually, you guys will probably recognize this person right here. This was from a Hollywood trip a very long time ago. Let me know in the comment section if you realize who that is, but it's basically a spot where we just have photos of all of our friends. And then up here, this is an art piece I did whenever I was a sophomore in high school. I did this in AP art class and I won an award for it. It's a painting of Dracula with, and actually I did it with Prismacolors and with paint, but it's kind of cool. Our hallway is fairly small, by the way. It's not that huge. And going through the hallway, there's actually this Museum of Weird poster. We have 3 rooms. We have our practice pad, we have the guest bathroom, and then we have the guest room. The practice pad is pretty self-explanatory. This is where my band Esoteric practices. We spend a lot of time in here throughout the week going through our band's set and just working on making sure that there's no loose ends and that we sound as good as humanly possible. And there are always cords all over the floor. Over here on this side is just a wall of our amps, and the orange amp is actually one that I use with my bass guitar, which I need to start playing again very soon. The walls are decorated just with band posters and memorabilia from different things that we like. Welcome to the guest bathroom. It's nothing too crazy. It's really small. There's some cool artwork in here that I did whenever I was much younger, a long time ago. All these paintings are by me and they just reside in here. I have a lot of little paper lanterns. There's some bats hanging up there. And then over on this side, we have a bunch of paper lanterns as well. This is a painting that I did fairly recently. And yeah, there's some band posters in here as well, and some little trinkets decorating throughout the bathroom. The next room and the last room I'm going to show you guys is Brady and I's bedroom and our little safe spot to retreat to. I really love vintage hats, so everything you see on this wall are actually vintage hats that I have found at different antique stores all over the United States. This is my jewelry case where I keep a lot of my rings and my necklaces. And this mirror is super cool as well because it has a double function. Not only is it a mirror, but it's also a storage place for all of my necklaces. It's really neat.